back to the Crimson 15 Podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin. Be sure to follow us over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in description below. If you're enjoying the videos, be sure to like, sub, share, and hit that bell for notifications. So today is my birthday, and instead of getting a gift, I will be giving a gift to all of you. And it is another CBR article about Shiva. I know what you're thinking.
Please, help me!
But remember, we have to face these things straight on, and man, it's just these articles from CBR, it's just full of lies. It's just one lie after another. And another interview with Noelle Stevenson. Is this woman just locked in a room and a giant long list of shill websites are just waiting to ask her the same questions over and over? This thing's supposed to be about Entrapta, which I think she's an interesting character to a point, but I think they miss everything about her, and they make these giant, they jump to these conclusions, and they keep using the word arc. There's no arcs in this show. There hasn't been a single arc, but somehow Entrapta had an arc in season 2 I wasn't aware of. And they keep asking about that dumb D&D episode. My God, that D&D episode.
Stop it. Get some help.
But here we go. Shiva's Noelle Stevenson explains Entrapta's arc in that D&D episode. And that's just an awful title for an article, but whatever. And man, this first paragraph is a doozy. Shiva and the Princesses of Power is chock full of fun characters that also offer deep commentary about how viewers see others and themselves. Is there a character in the show that after you're done watching the season or even an episode and you thought, I need to think about myself? All these characters are, outside of Catra, but everything is just despair and betrayal and everything else besides her. That's the only character that has anything. It is not a show that relies on stereotypes to make stories work. Oh yeah, none of these characters are stereotypes. Adora, the hero of Etheria, isn't a badass stereotype. She struggles in season 2 with how to be a hero. Not any more than she did in season 1. Her only struggle seems to be with how to deal with Catra, because she still cares about her as a friend and everything. Like, she feels that connection with her, and she's unable to, even in some of the training exercises she did with Light Hope, she was unable to kill her. And then when they fought in real life, she again was unable to even deliver a knockout blow. She just can't bring herself to do it. I think that's her biggest struggle. Being a hero, not really. They always win. Another fascinating character who isn't bound by any stereotypes is Entrapta, the Princess of Science, now aligned with the Horde. She's a huge stereotype. Not only is she a stereotype, she's a complete ripoff of Washu from Tenchi, which is one of my favorite animes. Probably the first anime I really got into. And yeah, I want to run some clips here of Washu, and you can't tell me someone did not pull her exact personality into Entrapta.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix this thing. It looks like the dimension tunnel's going to be out of commission for a little while. Don't touch that! Wait! Give it up, little girl. I, Washu, the genius mastermind, created that shield, so you'll never break through. Oh, gosh, it looks like we're running out of fuel. That's a problem. My protective shield is outstanding, but I must admit it does tend to use up fuel rather quickly.
You built it out of space.
They're comfortable to live on. I want to study the power of these gemstones further. So I think that I'll stay here as well.
I don't want any of you around here. Go back to whatever planet you came from. You're all a bunch of snoops. You actually invented something useful. What a concept.
You really are a genius, Washu.
That's what I've been telling you, only you can make that super genius.
Yeah, you see all that? You can see Entrapta saying and doing and acting exactly like that. But it's the fascinating, I don't know. She's kind of weird and wants to, do science all the time. He doesn't care about human life. That's a stereotype. That's a lot of scientists out there. Continue on. CBR spoke with Shiva's showrunner Noelle Stevenson about Entrapta and Adora's headspaces in the second season. This term headspaces, this is something I see a lot of, I want to say, the shill articles. They always use the headspaces. What a weird thing to say. What are thoughts and feelings? Why do they use these stupid words? As well as the hilarious Dungeons & Dragons inspired episode. First, it's not hilarious. There's not a single funny joke that hasn't already been done 1,000 times over. Bo's always getting upset about his stupid little dolls. Entrapta, but Mermista just being a bitch the whole episode. What's hilarious, it's all the same crap they've done the whole entire 2 seasons. But we get to the interview or paid article. CBR, Entrapta seems to be an important character, not just because whatever side she's on has better technology, but also because you can't pin her as good or bad. And she is so likable despite being socially awkward. Can you talk about how you navigate not making Entrapta a geek or villain stereotype? She is a geek stereotype. She is the stereotype of the mad scientist. Very, very stereotypical. Likable? I don't hate her. She's super goofy and super weird. I find her to be more irritating than not, but I don't dislike her as much. I don't know. I don't hate her. She's just kind of weird, but the fact that she won't ever face up to the facts that what she's doing is actually hurting people, especially at the end of season 1, everything she's doing with the Black Garnet, that could have killed thousands, tens of thousands of people, and she just doesn't care. That makes you a villain. I know she may not think about the consequences, but it doesn't mean what she did wasn't bad. I mean, we got it. She has to come to terms with that. Noelle Stevenson, Entrapta is such a fun character. She's so interesting because she's the sort of definition of chaotic neutral. No. If you're going to go by D&D, the stupid little, like, you know, you have a good, lawful, neutral, and all that kind of stuff. Chaotic neutral. God, not chaotic evil, because she doesn't go out to try to hurt people. She just doesn't care if she does. If there was something between lawful, neutral, like some weird category, because I don't think she would fit into neutral, because it's being neutral doesn't mean you don't care if someone gets hurt. You just don't pick a side. She obviously picked a side. She doesn't wish harm on anyone else, but she also doesn't have a huge self-preservation. She also doesn't have a huge self-preservation instinct, and that almost extends to everyone around her. No, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't let herself get killed. Maybe she would do something really stupid in an experiment, but she obviously doesn't care about anybody else. Literally, it could kill everyone on the planet. As long as she got to learn something, she would freaking do it. Because she lived in a castle with just robots and her 3 servants, and I don't think she even interacted with the humans or the live organic people. I don't know if they were elves or whatever. Part of that is just how she kind of sees the world. She doesn't really draw a big distinction between people and robots. That makes you evil, because human live people aren't machines. That makes you bad. She kind of sees herself as a robot. Does she? That's not true. I don't think that's true. Even though she's the creator or whatever, that just doesn't sound right. Nothing she has ever said or done makes you think that she's a robot. She still likes to eat and drink and do human type things and enjoy them. She's not, remember that episode of Futurama when Fry thought he was a robot? She's not acting like that. That's not what's happening here. Her robots develop personalities. She loves them and they love her. No, they don't. They're machines. They can't love you. You can program them to have responses to do those kinds of things, but they cannot love you. Not at this level of technology, not in this show. Even Light Hope was from, she has that advanced First One's tech. She can't love Adora. She's just a program. And we continue. Noelle's still talking. And so I think you really do see the world through her eyes. She's just a character who is incredibly curious and wants all the answers. She knows that there's this mystery out there. Well, I guess anyone who's into science, but see it through her eyes as a psychopath who doesn't care who she hurts. Is this who we're supposed to empathize with? Are we supposed to find it funny and cute? It's really weird, and it's kind of disturbing that you want us to see ourselves in this character, which is super weird. Even with the Black Garnet storm that happened at the end of season 1, that is just an interesting experiment. Oh yeah, an interesting experiment that could have led to the deaths of tens of thousands of people. Oh, just so interesting. The negative outcome is just another way to garner information for her. A bad guy. And that's what makes her dangerous. Definitely on the side of the villains is that she's so focused on getting those answers that she doesn't put the other characters in danger. She does put other characters in danger at the time. Not just other characters. We're talking the civilians of this world. That Black Garnet thing could have killed. It could have thrown off the whole, I don't know, the ecosystem of this whole planet, killing thousands and thousands of people and tens of thousands of animals. And no, that's just, she even sits here, and that makes her dangerous, definitely on the side of the villains. So she is a bad guy. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Noelle. You just don't get it.
You bitch. You did it. Stupid bitch doesn't even know.
But she's not doing it out of malicious intent, which is true. She just doesn't care if she hurts anyone, which is just as bad. She just doesn't see the world in terms of good and evil the way that some other characters do. Well, there's right and wrong. There is that gray area between what they think a bad guy. Every person is the hero in their own story, but there is right and wrong. Hurting uncount amounts of people is evil. It is wrong. So there is some differences. Not everything's gray there. And she's doing it for her friends at this point. No, what? How is doing that storm thing anything for her friends? That was just her wanting to screw with the Black Garnet. That wasn't to help anybody. It could have literally destroyed all of the Fright Zone. I don't think she would have cared. So I don't know why the hell she says that. The same as Scorpia. She's bonded with Scorpia and Catra and Hordak even in this season. Too many ants. No. She just likes Hordak's stuff. I don't think she cares as much for Hordak as Hordak cares about her, which is not at all. She likes all of Hordak's equipment, all of his technology, and she likes playing with it. Hordak likes Entrapta for her ability to, help him make these portals, her usefulness. If for one moment she wasn't useful, Hordak would get rid of her. And if for one moment Hordak didn't have all these things for her to experiment with, she would have nothing to do with him. I don't know what the hell Noelle's seeing here, but that's just the way it is. There are people who seem to understand her. No one does. Who are interested in hearing about her theories. She feels accepted there, so you do sort of understand what she's doing and why. No. So if a crazy man whose whole sole purpose in life is to rule over this land and kill everyone who stands in his way, but he understands me so we can be friends, you can't be that stupid. She's a bad guy. Sorry, there's no distinction there between good and bad. She is definitely a bad guy. We get a really stupid, this Dungeons and Dragons thing. I don't know how many times Noelle's been asked about this stupid episode, but it's ridiculous. CBR. After the first season, the show has a recognizable design. Terrible? And in the second season, you played around with other styles in a delightful Dungeons and Dragons battle planning episode. Oh, how delightful. Can you tell me more about the discussion that went into designing the different characters, versions of their plan to infiltrate the fortress? None of these were plans. They were just a bunch of kids making up stories and having fun. None of these things were viable. Not a single one of them. Even Bo, who was supposed to kind of be trying to take this seriously, he was being silly. Oh my goodness. This is Noelle. We were trying to figure out what would be fun. What would be fun? Not what would make sense. Not what would be great storytelling. What would be fun? What would be fun to see, and also what suited the characters' personalities. So Glimmer, being this sort of badass spy movie, she sees herself like a true cool badass in a leather jacket when everyone else sees like, you're the cutest, sparkiest princess in the world. I brought this up in the episode review. That's how her friends see her. They see her as a pretty princess and not as a commander of the Princess Alliance, not as a good fighter who has gotten them out of plenty of battles, has proven herself in combat. No, they see her as the cutest, sparkiest princess. What does that say about her friends? That's ridiculous. It's almost, I don't know what to say. That's pathetic. And she says, oh, it's a spy movie. I thought it was based off of Cowboy Bebop. I thought it was based off all these different animes. They have given so many different answers for why these episodes look, these little clips, the way they look, the way they do. And I don't think anyone agreed on anything. So Noelle says it's a spy movie. The last interview, I don't know if it was Noelle with somebody else, but they said, oh, it was like Cowboy Bebop. Well, Cowboy Bebop's not a spy movie, or at all in any of the episodes. So I don't know who's to believe here, because I don't think anyone's talking to each other. But she's like, no, I'm going to punch every bad guy. I'm so cool. But she does kind of act like that, but she doesn't do that in any of her fights. Like when they're actually in combat, she kind of fights okay-ish, but she's not doing any of that. I know like in her fantasy, but that's not really her. And her friends should know that. But I don't know. I guess they don't get it. I guess season 1 just fell out of their brains. And this is she's brought this up multiple times before, but she's sort of based on my first D&D character who was a warlock and would run out of teleports at key moments all the time because I didn't have that many spells left. If those who don't know, in Dungeons and Dragons, when you're early on your characters, you can only use a spell so many times per day. Or if you had like, you can augment that with spell books or scrolls or potions. But basically you could use magic missile like 3 times a day when you're like a low level wizard. And this character that Noelle invented, she leaves this part out of the story, but she said in other interviews that this was like a demon character. And she did that to get back at her Christian mother. That's just sick. That's just, I don't know. I never hated my parents that way. I never did these weird passive aggressive things because, oh, my mom was Christian, so I'm going to make my demonic character and I'm going to pretend to be that because, that's going to show her. That's creepy and it's weird. And you base a character off of that whole creepy setup, but whatever. Like she says, Warlock, it was a demon character. So Glimmer is a tiny shout out to my first D&D character. I'm hoping your first D&D character really appreciates that. Who also kind of an angsty teen who was just getting to hang of her powers. That's a season 1 thing. We should be past that, but whatever. God, I hate this episode so much. And someone like Bo who sees the world is such like a heroic and optimistic light. It really made sense for that to be our loving homage to the original. Oh, so loving how everyone was crapping on it. Adora the whole entire time during this little setup is talking about how stupid it is, how dumb it is, constantly yelling at Bo for making stupid stuff up. So how the hell is that a loving homage when your main character is crapping all over it? You lying sack of crap.
Why you always lying? Oh my God.
Where it's that hero, sword and sorcery, like the 80s Saturday morning cartoon style. It really seemed to fit Bo. Would see himself and see the world and finally get a chance to have a mustache. So we wanted to give him that. Oh, thank God he gave him the mustache because that's so important. Know who's done better homages to like D&D was, funny enough, The Amazing World of Gumball has done it a couple of times. And I'll throw in a clip here.
For Saturday night is family time. And since it's my turn to choose, we're raiding Dungeons and Fighting Dragons!
And that is a better homage because they talk about kind of like, when you're making your characters, you kind of have to get into it. And once you actually do get into it, like the whole family starts having fun and everything. And that's what makes D&D awesome is when you have a group of people and everyone's into it and everyone, you're just rolling dice and reading pieces of paper, but you can get engrossed into the fantasy and you play by the rules. And when things happen, of course, you get upset and everything, but it's fun when you're doing it together. This whole setup, there were no rules. There was no nothing. It was just a bunch of kids acting like morons. That is the worst kind of D&D setup. You'll just walk out. I know there's dungeon masters that will run their campaigns a little too high and tight. You kind of have to be a little bit more loose with especially depending on if you're playing with new players or whatever, but you can have a lot of fun. This wasn't that. Watch that episode of Gumball, and that is a much better representation of Dungeons and Dragons, even though it has stupid fart jokes and stuff like that, but it actually has a lot of heart at the end. Anyways, all the characters, like I think Mermista is just committing to the bit. Her character is so deadpan, but so weird when you dig under the surface a little bit. Really? Again, the Mermista didn't have much of a character in season 1, and in season 2, again, I say it every time, she's just a bitch. She's sitting in other people's chairs in the little planning room. She's being a bitch during the D&D game, just crapping on everyone's ideas. And it's like, why are you even here? You obviously aren't happy. You obviously don't care about the plan. You're not having fun, which you shouldn't be having fun because this is a real battle plan, but you're not doing that either. So why the hell are you even here? So digging under the surface, when did we get under the surface? Not at all. So what the hell? And Perfumer, the type of D&D player who's only trying to use her spells in really creative ways to the point where she'd argue with the DM about it. We just had a ton of fun with it. Perfuma, I guess when she was like, oh, my plant monster does this. So that's not really a spell. That was kind of like more like an item. And there wasn't it was just like a couple of times. They didn't really focus on that. So I don't know what she's talking about. I'm surprised she didn't bring up Frosta and like, oh, I made a character and try to make her all badass and give her all the spike armor and everything. So I don't know, whatever. They move on from the D&D episode because that was so damn important to talk about for the 5,000th time. In the second season, Adora's anxiety, this is CBR. In the second season, Adora's anxiety over being perfect kind of boils over. Why did you choose to make this struggle as part of Adora's arc? Again, they keep saying arc. There's no effing arcs. There hasn't been an arc of anything. I guess if the arc is at 1 degree and it just digs right into the ground because nothing ever goes anywhere. And Adora's anxiety about being the perfect kind. What? The only time that this kind of happened was in that D&D episode when she got upset. But she should get upset because everyone's being a freaking dummy. So I don't know what they're talking about. Noelle. Adora's core flaw is that she is, especially after the last season, she wants someone to tell her to be good. Or tell her how to be good. So I guess like the training with Light Hope. But is that really what she wants? Huh? She has this huge crisis of faith in season 1 where she thought she was on the side of good and she discovers that the Horde was evil. Yeah, in all of half an episode and turns on everything she grew up with and everything just right away. So I guess that huge, crisis of faith didn't really shock her that much. And she immediately inherits this other legacy, this other role that she's supposed to be in this inspiring warrior that she realizes as a result of her own conversation with Catra in the last season, that Catra sees her as a villain in her own story. Catra blames her for everything that's going wrong, and that really shook Adora. I really liked, I think it was episode 11, I don't remember the name in season 1, where they kind of have Adora and Catra have this kind of back and forth, and we see some of their past memories, and I can see where Catra kind of blamed Adora for being perfect, but you cared about her, and you never expressed your feelings. People aren't mind readers. If she would have told Adora when they were younger, hey, I feel like you hog the spotlight all the time. I feel like you don't give me an opportunity to shine. I'm as good and strong and as fast and capable as you, but I feel like I care about you, and we're like family, but you always seem to wanting to protect me. You put me in the shadows. If she would have just said that, I'm pretty damn sure Adora would have been like, oh, I'm sorry, I never meant that. What she did say, but Catra already had this building up for, 17 years? So, I don't know. She doesn't necessarily blame her for everything. She just kind of blames her for that. So, I don't know. I like that. It builds the animosity, but she also cares about her. But it doesn't go anywhere. She has this very black and white view of the world of good and evil. She is also very confused. Adora? Is she? I don't know. Confused about what? She knows the Horde's the bad guys and you gotta stop them. But she's not confused. She doesn't know how to be a hero that everyone wants her to be. People are projecting onto her all the time, and she's really trying to be everything for everyone. Who? Who is projecting onto her? A Glimmer? A Bo? Angela? Who's projecting onto Adora? Please, in the comments below, let me know. And, if you're really awesome, tell me what episode, what timestamp it for me, so I can look at it and see, oh yeah, they're projecting onto her. I think the closest thing of that would be in season 1 when Marista goes, oh, I want her on my team because she's an 8-foot badass or whatever. But that was like a compliment, so I don't know. This is some personal thing with Noelle. Like, oh, my parents wanted me to be something more than an idiot, and I resent them for that. I think that's what this is. To the point where she's tearing herself apart, realizing that she has been hurting Catra, even though it wasn't her intention, made her afraid. Okay, is she referring to Catra or Adora? Realizing that she has been hurting Catra, even though it wasn't her intention, made her afraid. So I don't know if she's talking about Adora being afraid of hurting Catra or Catra being afraid of Adora. Anyways, neither of those things make any damn sense. The only thing Adora's afraid of is actually physically hurting Catra because she won't do it. Even when she just knock her out or just grab her and pin her to, just stop her and tie her up. Because apparently Bo and Sparkle Girl, freaking Glimmer, can tie up Catra easily twice. Afraid that she would accidentally hurt other people as she goes on. Afraid that maybe she's just somebody who hurts people. Well, you're kind of in a war. You're going to hurt people. Does she mean emotionally? Again, the only person she's actually hurt, I guess, is Catra. And then she blew up a bunch of robots and stuff and like random soldiers. So when she keeps saying that hurts people, she really just means Catra. So what the hell are you talking about, Noelle? What the hell are you talking about? She has so much fear. Whoa, where am I getting this fear? Again, the D&D episode, when she got all upset that she thinks, if we don't have this battle plan, everyone's going to get hurt and I'm going to fail. That's the only time she ever really showed, like, she was afraid that they weren't going to, get the job done. But just like at the end of that episode, we just wing it. That's where we do our best work. So they just go and they wing it and they always win. So like someone pointed out, where is Adora afraid of anything except for hurting Catra? She just has so much fear. I think even just of herself, and it does in effect how she fights. It affects her powers, it affects her leadership. As Adora, she's physically very competent. She addresses every problem by punching it and attacking it.
No mystical power on Earth can defeat a nice punch in the face.
And so this is a problem she can't punch away. I'm not understanding. She has super close friends. Bo and Glimmer are like her super mega besties, and she can relay all of this information to them, and they would be kind and supportive and just wonderful best friends. So I don't know what the hell all this is about. She hasn't brought any of this up to anybody. So this is like in Noelle's head, but it's not even in the character's head. So I'm at a loss for this. And we get to the final paragraph. Thank God. Her arc is so much about wrestling with honesty, her privilege. Go F yourself, Noelle. Just go F yourself. Her privilege? She grew up in a hellscape from day one as a child soldier. What effing privilege does Adora have? Are you freaking kidding me? That she's white? Are we talking about white privilege? My God, Noelle, you freaking nutbar. Being given this role is such an honor and does come with so much power, but also comes with so much responsibility. You're going to steal Spider-Man lines and you said it wrong. Her role is to manage that responsibility when that is something that does not come naturally to her. And that's just the end of this I keep wanting to say interview, but that's not what this is. It feels like there should have been a couple more sentences after that or a follow-up question because none of that makes sense. Her role is to manage that responsibility. No, her role is to protect the people and to kick Hordak's ass. That's her role. Everything else can come second. This isn't like she's trying to make her sound like the Avatar. Again, Avatar: Last Airbender is probably one of my most favorite animated series of all time. That was about keeping balance because there wasn't always a war. So what is the Avatar's responsibility? Do they intervene with disputes between people, or is it their place to like go into another city and say, hey, your laws are wrong? That would be something about managing responsibility because the Avatar has all this power. They could just go anywhere and just make up all the rules, but is that their place? And I think they did that pretty damn well in the after comic books with Aang, because after the war was done, there was some resentment between the Fire Nation had a bunch of colonies in the Earth Kingdom, and then the Earth Kingdom's like, well, the war's over, kick all these Fire Nation people out. But they're like, whoa, these people came here in peace. They weren't the warriors. They weren't the fighters. And there was people that were born there. So are they Earth Kingdom citizens now? So there's that huge fight between the Fire Nation saying, hey, those are our people. The Earth Kingdom want to kick them out. See, that's where you have to manage the responsibility of that power. Because Aang's kind of torn between his friend Utsuko, doing what's right for the Earth Kingdom. That's interesting. That's awesome. She-Ra, what the hell are we talking about? There's nothing like that. Everything is wrapped up in a single episode. There's no warring, states. It's just the Horde versus everyone else. There's nothing like that. I would love for there to be something like that where there's some more, between villages. Oh, we need more defenses at our borders. Well, the kingdom can't send any more soldiers. Well, how come they're more important than us? Does the Queen Angela not care about the people in the outlining towns that are being attacked? See, now that would be interesting, but they never even touch on any of that. But that ends this article, and what a wonderful birthday gift for me to read this for all of you. I actually, it's therapeutic, these things, because it's just ridiculous how these people just shill the hell out of the series for no good reason, and they gloss over the good parts, and they bring up ridiculous stupid crap like that D&D episode over and over and over. For what reason? Everyone who's seen it saw and know it was terrible. But we got the season 3, quotes, season 3 is out at the end of July, I believe. So not too long before we have more episodes, and I'm sure there's going to be more articles like this. Thanks for people who send me this kind of stuff. This one came from Twitter, and so you guys can share stuff with me, articles, Twitter posts, anything to do with the show, because it's just fun to talk about in the comment sections. You guys have such great ideas, and some people have come up with some story plot lines. You're like, man, why can't that be in the show? It has, it would fit the show. It's not too dark. It's not too dreary. And it would flesh out so much of the characters, but it just seems like so many missed opportunities. But keep the comments coming. Be sure you're subbed. Hit that bell for notifications, and I'll check you guys out next time. Crimson Saint here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.